Hello, this is Diamond, also known as Gemm,
My name is Carla Bisong with Bisong Art Gallery.
and we are here today to talk a little bit about our upcoming exhibition as well as curating and the curation of other exhibitions. So let's just go ahead and get into it.
Yes. So I'm really excited. You have upcoming events. Tell us more about it.
Yes, at the end of this month, we will be having Art and Women in Power. This is the first installation of our series that'll go on quarterly throughout the rest of this year of 2023. A lot of our exhibitions are hosted here at Bisong Art Gallery, so this one will be here from March 31st until April 2nd. It's going to be an amazing exhibition featuring artworks from local artists, both female and male. We will have local talents who perform, as well as a women's summit on Saturday, which will have 4 different panels on leading ladies in different industries, whether they're agriculture, art, community service. It's going to be an amazing and powerful panel. We'll have one about motherhood and mompreneurs. We'll have one about women's health and wellness, and we'll also have one about art and women in art. So that is the gist of the show.
That is amazing. So you and I both share an experience of curating. So curating, in a nutshell, basically is formulating how artwork is going to be presented to an audience, in a nutshell.
Yes.
And so we receive submissions when we're doing a solo show at Bisong Art Gallery or a group show with your exhibitions. So let's talk into the pros and the cons of curating.
So when curating, everyone curates differently. That's definitely a thing. Every curator is different. They're looking for different things, and they're trying to present it in a different way to each and every audience that they're reaching out to. So for me personally, I like to curate exhibitions that are more themed. Some curators prefer to curate shows based on the medium or the style of artwork. So for me personally, when it comes to a themed exhibition, the works that I'm looking to see are works that are related to that theme. So if the theme is women empowerment, I'm looking for powerful pieces, pioneership amongst women, innovative actions that women do, or innovative movements that they have been a part of, things like that. Things that are showing women in their powerful energy. Not so much anything that would be erotic or anything that would be more sad or a melancholy tone or things like that. We're looking for things that would empower women and make them feel powerful. So when you're submitting to an exhibition, really take the time to think about the theme and what the curator is looking to get across to the audience, and making sure that your art is giving that same message and vibe.
Right. And I always recommend for artists to stay consistent to themselves. So in case a show has a theme and that is not your style, if the curator's not looking for erotic and that's all you do is erotic art, it is okay to say, this is just not the show for me. And I think that is okay. Not every opportunity is the opportunity for you. So that is fine. Just find more opportunities, show your own work. But you would hate to create something that you don't love as an artist, and then people are now like, we want to see more of this from you, but that wasn't your thing. And so you never want to paint yourself into a corner per se.
That is a really good one, and a really good quote too. But I really agree with Carla on that. We have different themes throughout the whole year. So if this show is not the perfect fit, that's okay. There's another one that is. And like she said, not forcing yourself to create something that isn't really a good portrayal of yourself as an artist. I also see a lot of artists who like to hurry up and create things. Let me just put something together for the exhibition, even if it is their style or it is a theme that it may be related to their works. I would say when you're doing that to be intentional and to be mindful of what you're creating and what you're putting out to the public. Yes, you can create something in a short amount of time, but just make sure that it's quality work.
That's so true. And a little off topic, I've seen artists participate in large festivals or art fairs or street fairs, and these are thousands of people coming to see their booths, and they have admitted to me, because they told me, so I can share this, I really just needed to move all this old inventory. I'm not even doing this style anymore. I just want to get rid of the art. That might not be the best idea for thousands of people to see art that you are just trying to get rid of. You want to move it and you're not even working in that style anymore. So there's just a lot of opportunities to move art. So I even would suggest for artists to think twice on doing something like that as well.
That's an interesting point, because to me that sounds like curating yourself as an artist.
Yes.
What works am I curating for the public to see and to know me as an artist? So not only going into exhibitions, but going into public spaces as well.
That's so true. So let's dive deep. You are now putting on the show. You are gaining submissions. What are you seeing?
I have seen a lot. I've seen a lot.
Do tell.
Everyone has a different style of art, is the first thing that I'll say. And I respect anyone and everyone's form of expression, is the next thing that I'll say. But I will say that each show is looking for a certain caliber, and I'm sure I can say that for any show and any curator. If they're looking for a certain caliber of artwork and they would like to present works to the public that are innovative, eye-catching, that are very professional, and that I'm trying to.
I understand. We're kind-hearted, and we never want to hurt anyone's feelings.
No.
I'll go ahead and take a little load off of you. I feel like I can say it. I feel if someone went to one of those painting and drinking places,
That's a good
I
way to
won't
put
say a name of a company, but one of those places, and they literally painted one of those type of pieces from a party, having a good time. We have seen people turn around and submit that for an art show or an exhibition, solo exhibition with a gallery, and it literally looks like you went to a painting party.
Yes.
And maybe you've been painting for fun for a couple of weeks, months, maybe so, and you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm ready to have an art show now. And kudos to you for
having some confidence.
having lots of confidence.
Yes.
So I may not have the answer of always saying when you are ready or not ready. I don't think there is a strong line of knowing that, but I will just say to challenge yourself. If you are a newer artist, ask yourself, how long have I really studied my craft? How long have I gained the guidance? And it might not be institutional. It might not be graduating with an art degree, but have I truly studied beyond looking at YouTube videos?
Yes. So to that point, I would just say, me personally as a curator, I'm looking to work with developing artists who have really put in the time and effort and energy to develop their craft, their style, or their artistry in whichever medium they're presenting themselves, but also their statement that they are presenting to the public as an artist. I prefer to work with artists that have formed a way to be recognized within the public. So they have created a style for themselves, or they have created a statement that they're speaking to throughout their pieces, things of that nature. So whether that's, I speak to women taking the time to relax. So all of her pieces now give an energy of relaxation, of women and self-care and things like that. So really taking the time to think about what you are getting across as an artist, not just producing a piece, but producing a purposeful piece.
That is extremely important. And also, we now have the eye of knowing quality materials. So as you are presenting your artwork, we understand budget is different for everyone, and some people are truly needing to stay in a budget, but you also need to make sure you're using the highest quality materials, because we want to feel when the piece sells, that artwork is going to last for years and years and years to come. And some of these paint works are classroom quality paints that are used, not meant to last for years and years and years. If something is behind glass, are you able to put it behind museum quality glass so that it's not a major glare taking away from the artwork behind the glass? Or is it just glass that, you know, has that high glare that it's hard to photograph or hard to really see it without taking away from the work? And just many other installations or assemblage. Is it gonna fall apart just because, you know, you purchase it and you have your little child that just kind of touches it gently, and is it falling apart? So just have to keep those in mind as well. I've seen great pieces and ideas and philosophies in the artwork, and the message they're showing is really good, but I've had to turn it down just because the quality, I felt it may not hold together in 5 years.
Which is really important as a curator, because the works that we are curating that are going out into the public, whether they're going into a home or they're going into a public space, it also speaks back to us and what
Yes.
what we have said is good to go.
Right.
So we have to make sure from every angle that this is a great and, not to say perfect piece, but prepared piece to give to the public.
For that reason in itself, I enjoy someone, I don't put a hard number on it, but I like for an artist to have been creating minimum 5 years. Because if you have some older pieces, then we can see how they have stood the test of time. But that's not a set rule, but a bit of a guideline that I could waver on just depending on the situation, but minimum 5 years.
And let's speak to that. We know that Miss Carla is the owner of Bisong Art Gallery. So with that being said, there are different forms of exhibitions.
Yes.
There are public group exhibitions, there are private solo exhibitions. There are all kinds of exhibitions. Our exhibitions at this point are mostly temporary installation exhibitions, but Miss Carla works with long-standing exhibitions. So what would you say you would advise to an artist who is looking to get into a more long-standing exhibition as far as when they submit their pieces and their works? What would you say is a good way to present themselves if they have not been in that setting before?
Okay, so yes, I have worked with artists that it's their first gallery solo show, but what I really liked was they took the initiative to show their work in other settings before approaching the gallery. So in temporary installations, in group shows, in alternative settings, if they've opened up their home and had a dinner party and invited their family and friends and mainly what's important, have they developed the skill of talking about their art? It's very important to be able to talk about your art. And so when you get to a gallery, now being a little bit more established in a gallery owner, there are a few more criteria that I look for. But when I first started, definitely that was kind of the bare minimum is, have you shown your work in any other setting? Are you comfortable speaking of your work? And have you developed we're always going to experiment. Artists are always going to experiment, but do you have a baseline, consistent technique that you go for? I would say a mistake some artists have had, they've come to the gallery and they have a display of work that they don't know what direction they really want to take, and it's a little bit all over the place. And so if I can compare it to an exhibition that we've had recently, the grand opening was March 3rd with Zahra Ali, and we'll show a few photos on this video. Each painting is a different imagery, but her brushstroke style and her technique is consistent amongst all of her pieces. And so that is an idea that, okay, she has been painting for 15 years. And so, of course, throughout this time frame, she's experimented and tried different things and then set into a consistent style. And so this is something that I'm looking for.
That makes a lot of sense. Me personally, on another level of submitting to exhibitions. When you are submitting to the exhibition, like Ms. Carla spoke to, she would like to see the other places that you have displayed your pieces and whatnot. I would like to know about your pieces, friends. So I would like to know, what medium is this? I would like to know, what size is the piece? I would like to know about the piece. So before you're even getting into these settings of going into the gallery exhibition, have you done the base level of actually being able to talk about your piece, like Carla said, on the paperwork side and on the verbal side? I need to know what mediums these are, what size it is, if there's any particular way that needs to be taken care of after it's been sold, so that we can verbalize that to the client or to the collector who's coming up to look at the piece. We need to know about the piece so that we can actually speak about the piece. If you send me a photo of your artwork, I can take anything from that piece of artwork.
Sure.
I would like to know from your perspective as the artist about the piece of work, which also gives me more of an idea as a curator on how I can curate this into the collection of works that will be displayed. So on both sides, it's important to be able to talk about your art.
Right.
Yes.
And if we could go back on the moment of when you mentioned, it's such a great point. You can tell when somebody's hurrying and rushing just to be in a show. Give yourself enough time. Sometimes you're not in the same city as the show is being presented, so you might have to ship your artwork to a different city. I would definitely advise, let's say if someone's presenting to be in your show and the first date is March 31st and it needs to be shipped, you should plan for it to arrive 10 days in advance to allow time for delays with shipping, to allow time for the curator of the show to unpackage the piece, put it into a catalog if it needs to be in a catalog. If it's a printed catalog that an external company needs to print, you might need it 30 days in advance to take high quality pictures of the image. And just communicate, have great communication. And as an artist, you can also communicate with the curator. Okay, I have been accepted into this show. You're gonna show my artwork, but maybe what is the promotional strategy for the show? What can I do to help? You do a lot that some curators don't do, that you can tell us more, but you have a networking kind of reception for the artists to mingle and do videos for the artists to talk about their work. You do a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So with our exhibitions, we try to go the extra mile to really promote the artist, which is why I'm a little more particular on the artists that are involved in the exhibition itself. We create an exhibition pamphlet where we showcase the artist and we give their biography, letting the collectors and people know more about the artists themselves. We also do artist interview videos where we actually sit down with the artist and we get to know more about their medium, their practice, what they want to get across to the people, who they are as an artist, and things like that. And we also include them, of course, in all of our email marketing, but more about themselves as an artist. Not so much, the exhibition, of course, is what we're going to focus on, but we're also focusing on the artists that are involved in the exhibition, because our platform is geared and centered towards helping rising artists to develop and to break out and emerge into the public space.
Yes.
So we do a little bit more, so we require a little bit more. A lot of artists don't like to talk. And you're going to need to talk so that people can know who you are. It's important for you to be able to speak about your works so that your message comes across not only visually, but through yourself as an artist as well. A lot of collectors are developing a relationship with the artist, not only with the piece. So when you're letting them know who you are and what your purpose in your creations is, then it helps to create that connection with the collectors as well, which is something major for us as curators. We want to be successful in sales as well. So in all ways, we want the artist to be well-rounded and ready to exhibit.
And so true. In everything you do as an artist, do it with professionalism. So if you're putting together a great package, have a professional headshot. Maybe not the selfie that you took from, leaving the restaurant and you're feeling pretty good, and take a selfie and I'll have this as my representation. Let's have a professional headshot. Speak clearly. I've definitely helped artists with artist statements and bios. Just read it. Maybe sometimes English isn't the first language with some artists, so their writing may need. So if you have someone great that can help you read through what you're saying in your artist statement, in your bio, and just make sure grammar is proper and it's formatted, that would be wonderful. But it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. So just ask a friend that you trust that is understandable with the English language, can just make sure that what you're trying to say makes sense. And it's okay, curators like ourselves will help, but just make sure, if you can, have that already set, because I would hate for a curator, your art is amazing, and maybe a curator just doesn't have the time or chooses not to want to help an artist in that way, and completely dismiss you because English is your second language and they feel that I can't even read what they submitted. On to the next. So I would hate for that to happen.
Yes, and luckily these days, it may seem overwhelming when you're getting started at first, but there are so many resources that are available to you. You can go on Google and you can simply type in artist statement examples and go based on that. Or you can go to an artist that you admire that is at a professional standard and you can view their things and go based on that. Or you can go to YouTube, or you can go to the wonderful, I feel both ways about AI. Yeah. So, there are a lot of different tools that you could use to get it done. And the same thing with the selfie. You don't have to necessarily pay for a headshot to get done by a professional photographer. You can get your tripod and have a nice blank white wall with a nice professional top on. You know how they laugh about wearing your pajamas at the bottom of your top? You don't have to do the most.
We would never know.
You never know, but you can get it done though. Or you can ask a friend to stand there and take a nice picture of you. Just make it professional.
Yes.
That's the main part. That's the main thing.
And we've discussed this before as well too. We look at the artwork, but we also look at the artist as a whole as well, along with the artwork. So when you're presenting with a show and curators want to help you with your art career, just make sure everything about you digitally is inviting and would not put off potential collectors or potential curators working with your show. So, you know, if there's some things about you or that you're saying in your social media, it's common sense, just like anything else as applying for a job. Just make sure that you are inviting and you are attractive. And when I say the word attractive, not physically, but just the overall essence. Honestly, I've met amazing artists, but for whatever reason, if it was attitude, if it was just being difficult, I think one artist submitted their art for work and 15 minutes later, like called me and kind of demanded, am I in yet? Is it going to, you know, have you made a decision yet? Like literally, I looked at the email to make sure I wasn't mistaken. Like, you just sent me this 15 minutes ago. I haven't even had time to review it, but now you're expecting a decision. So that right there, oh, thank you for letting me know that this is how our interaction would be working together. And I say all this, that seems common sense, but you know, it's not.
And when curating a show, a curator there are so many moving parts to the exhibition. In our exhibitions, we have live talents, we have panels, I have panelists, I have all kinds of things that I'm also attending to, the marketing and the actual people who are attending. There are other things to attend to. So please, as an artist, be mindful and kind of courteous and considerate of the curator as well, to give them time to respond to you. They are going to respond to you. They need you because we need artists.
Correct.
So you will definitely get a response, of course, but just have a little bit of patience in that response time. It's coming.
Right. And this will be a great opportunity to discuss. There is a debate asking artists to pay a submission fee. And so I 100% understand both sides of the coin. As a gallerist, if artists want to submit to me for representation with the gallery, I do not charge submission fee, but what you're talking about and what you do involves costs. So would you like to explain some of the costs and what you do that helps when an artist submits and pays a fee? Could I also just say I understand asking for a submission fee because I have had events that I didn't charge a submission fee and received over 100 submissions, and I could tell 50% of them were not really taking the submission process seriously, because it's like, submit your artist statement, your bio, few images of recent work, and maybe one or two other requirements. And it's like, oh no, I'm just gonna submit and I'm only gonna give you half of what you asked for. Some of the work, like I said, talk about the painting and party artwork that was submitted, I feel it would have cut down and really brought forth majority quality works as opposed to lesser quality, because when you also pay a certain amount, you're gonna think twice, and it helps with the filtering process, because I went through every single submission and invested a lot of time that I may not have had to invest in some people submitting works that really just weren't serious and just like, if they let me in, they let me in. If they don't, they don't, but why not? So from my perspective, I definitely understand maybe getting more serious artists when there is a 10, 20, 35 submission fee.
For us, we charge a fee for our installations because we are not in a permanent setting space. So everything that we are doing literally costs. From the marketing that we're doing to the talents that we are providing in the space to attract people, to give them entertainment. We offer complimentary drinks. There's a lot of cost involved. We have to pay for our venue space. So whereas sometimes we have a one-day exhibition that's only 3 hours, we're paying a smaller amount. Our next exhibition is 3 days long in a gallery space. So that is a bit more costly. So with that, the things that we are providing to our artists, amongst all of the other things that are being done, we do charge an exhibition fee. And we also don't take any percentage of the artist's sales. So we are doing the back end work of making sure we're getting as many people in the building as possible to potentially try to sell you out of artwork. And all of those proceeds would be going to the artist. We don't take anything from the artist. So the fee that is paid is more of an investment into yourself as an artist because of all of the things that will be provided for you when you get involved into the exhibition, but also as a fee to showcase your works to this audience that you would not have access to, or if had been it not for the exhibition, this would not have been an opportunity type of thing. So the exhibition fee is our way of not only financing the work, but like Carla said, weeding out who's involved and who's not, because you'd be surprised. I've actually had artists who have paid a submission fee and did not come to the show. So I've seen a lot of different things with artists and doing exhibitions. Yeah, I would just say for any artist, if you're willing to invest in yourself and the opportunity, it will pay off. That's what I will say.
I think that's amazing, and that is a great place for us to end our conversation. Oh, we can talk all day long. It's so much, but I truly feel that we're giving value and information that you wouldn't necessarily know, especially if you're beginning your art career, you're trying to navigate different artists' avenues to show your work and what's available to you. So even if you're not in the Houston area, hopefully we have encouraged you to find out, are there opportunities to be in group shows if you're getting started and you're just wanting to learn how to speak about your work, how to show your work. If you've done a few in your area, then hopefully as a gallerist, I'm providing information on what some other galleries would look for. And just like Diamond mentioned earlier, curators are all different, gallerists are all different as well. And so there's no one rule for everyone. You really just have to pay attention to the gallerist's personality. Visit some of their previous shows that they're having. Some artists are really great at going to other gallery shows or other art shows, exhibitions, and some, for whatever reason, don't want to. They just want to create, and then when I show my work, I show up, but when I'm not showing my work, I'm just going to stay in the studio and create.
It's really important to do both. Have a good balance of creating yourself as an artist and of course your creations, but also creating relationships with those that are going to help you to get your creations out to the world. So with all that,
yes.
Thanks for joining our creative conversation.
Thank you. Have a great day.